Welcome back to the Travis Jones Show and Olivia Jones Show. May as well call it that right now. It is 2021, and today we are talking about how to have your greatest year ever. Welcome, Olivia.
Welcome.
That was a very high-pitched welcome just then.
Well, I don't know, like inside my head I was like 2020, 2021. Is it really welcome?
Well, it could be 2020
so much
again. It's like
stuff going on.
2020
I feel like
was really
just continued.
Yeah, just a year that didn't happen. But that's okay. We are talking today about the greatest year ever, and we're going to uncover the tools and methods to get there. I'm excited for this podcast. I love, and guys, it might not be too existential. So we're going to start off with a little bit of existential conversation, and then we're going to go into some practical tools to actually get that greatest year ever. And we'll have a bit of banter. So make sure that you get ready. Even if you have a pen and paper, write some notes, because guys, 2021 is going to rock and roll.
Well, I think you've got to start with the best of intentions, always, even if you're a bit shattered from 2020.
Yeah, it's like
start again.
It's like you were shackled
Magical
to
January
2020. Yeah, right. And we are magical. We are have full of energy, and we are abundant.
A bit mystical. Even.
Exactly. So when we're looking at this, guys, I think personally our goal is to make every single year our best year ever. Now, even last year, I have so many amazing parts out of that year. And, when I look at it, I became stronger as a human being. And it made me look at my patience. It made me look at my grit, my determination. It brought me and live even closer as a couple.
Like literally locked in the house.
Yeah, locked in the house closer. So but so many great things happen. And yeah, for sure. Like in one aspect of our life, the financial side, it wasn't as what we thought because of the 9 months of lockdowns or anything like that.
2020 going, do you know what? I just really want to fight for everything financially in 2020. I really feel like that'd be my goal.
But when we look at it, was it the greatest year ever? Yeah, because it built us stronger for 2021. It was exactly what we needed. So, I think that's the attitude. And I think we all have to look at it and say, okay, fantastic. It made me. It was the setup. It built my resilience. It built my grit. It built my determination. It got me hungry.
Eternal optimism.
Exactly. And that's the, guiding force for all entrepreneurs. So, when we look at this, you are going to be the exact person you are right now in 5 years, except for two things: new people coming into your life, or new wisdom or new knowledge, which you turn into wisdom, coming into your mind. So what I want you to look at is who needs to come into your life over this next year? What books do you need to read over this next year? You need to take stock a little bit and go, where am I lacking? Okay. Where am I lacking in my health? Where am I lacking in my work? Where am I lacking in my love life? Where is my sum of the five? Who are the people in my life, and who do I need to engage with to actually lift up the new knowledge coming in and the new standards that I live by? And then your next 5 years, you'll be dramatically different.
And I think the other angle is always looking at it like, what excuses do you hear yourself saying? And I think all of us have those stories. All of us have those excuses. So even if you're struggling, or you're listening to this and you're struggling to see the things that you need to do, sometimes it's flipping it and looking at the negative and going, well, what excuses do I tell myself? And we've all got them. You and I have had them no matter what. It's like, I don't have time for this X, Y, Z, but it's all about priorities. And I think if you look at it, sometimes people, when they flip it that way, they can see the glaring omissions a little easier.
Yeah, because we all do have time, right? If you want to grow your business by $100,000, $200,000, $1 million in 2021, I don't know where you're at, so I don't know what your capabilities are. I don't want to put limitations on you. I'll let you do that. But hopefully you can uncap those self-imposed limitations and truly shoot for the stars.
But I think on that though, there's something really important that I think a lot of people misunderstand about time. And about setting goals, or even about acknowledging things that you need to bring into your life. There is always for every for every action, there's a reaction. So for every goal, there's a sacrifice. And I think a lot of people need to acknowledge that and go, okay, that's fine. I can dedicate, perhaps having success in this part of my life, but I have to be willing to sacrifice this part of my life. And is that worth it? So what else could I sacrifice? There has to be a sacrifice somewhere along the way to achieve anything.
Or every sacrifice creates a sacrifice.
Well, we could go into that depressing little cycle.
So, if I sacrifice, essentially, right? If I sacrifice going to the gym, I sacrifice becoming obese. If I sacrifice becoming obese, I sacrifice feeling fit and healthy. Like everything's a sacrifice. It's the best. What price do you want to pay? You can pay the price of, going to the gym, or you can pay the price of dying early. You can pay the price of, getting the knowledge, or you can pay the price of essentially constantly going, why isn't it working for me? So I think for all of us, like you can, in this year, just so we understand, in this year, you can get the fittest person way you possibly could be. You can also grow your business by a couple of 100,000. You also could have an amazing relationship with your family. Like all those three things are achievable in the same year, but you have to be diligent. You have to be structured. You have to be disciplined, and you have to actually have some goals and outcomes. And you'll have to understand that, all of these decisions on a day-by-day basis come from somewhere inside of you, which is probably your heroic you. I think for me, I like to think about it as there's two versions of you. There's the heroic version of you, and then there's a lesser version of you. And the more we can choose to become the heroic version or act as the heroic version.
The co-star.
The co-star. Explain.
Well, the supporting actor. You're either the hero or you're the supporting actor.
No one's got time for the fucking supporting actor.
Well, exactly. You don't want to be that
so
person.
No one remembers that person.
No one remembers that Oscar.
Except if you're Kevin Hart. Who is the supporting? Is he really the supporting actor to The Rock, to Dwayne Johnson? Or are they both?
I think they're a duo.
They're a duo. It's like me and you.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. So with that, you have your co-star.
Most people are giggling right now.
I'm your co-star. But when we look at this, guys, I always have this as well. Like when you're looking for a workout and you go into that Hurt Locker and you start to get driven and you start to pull yourself going, oh, shit, do I want to keep going? That person on your shoulder, right? That person on your shoulder that tells you, like, just give up, just hold back, just, you've done enough. You don't need to do anymore. What are you trying to do? Like, that's a far enough to run, or you don't need to go as hard. What are you trying to prove, right? That's the person. That's the co-star. That's the person holding you back from your potential. They're holding you back from the heroic version of you. They're holding you back from what you're capable of becoming on this earth. And we only have one life. And so many of us don't live it to our true potential because we're acting as the co-star, not as the hero. So then the hero's version of you needs to stand up, slap that co-star across the face and go, pipe down. And they go, you need to do this. You were born for this. You need to push forward. How you do one thing is how you do everything. And they are the one that actually pushes you forward. And the more you can, step up and be the heroic version of you, that person that does get up when the alarm goes off and doesn't press snooze, that every action, there's a heroic, essentially there's a heroic, disciplined version of you, and there is the co-star, who wants you to take it easy. He wants you to sit and watch Netflix, just another episode. And when we look at this, like all the psychologists and all the philosophers, that damn Netflix gets me.
Damn Bridgerton.
But when this, it's like, there's a heroic you, and all the psychologists, the philosophers, from everyone have said, it's like, I just want to look at Abraham Maslow. To your goal in life, right? What one can be, one must be. And I think so many of us are not living up to our potential of what we can be.
But I think that's the excuses too, because the uncomfortable truth for everyone is that everyone, all the people that you look at, and everyone is inspired by different people. There's no one true inspiration. But, if you all look at it and, you're talking about The Rock before, and it's, you look at The Rock, 100% he has that voice. It's just he chooses not to listen to that voice, and he's gotten very good at slapping that co-star back down. But, Kevin Hart equally, you would say, amazing work ethic and things like that. So all these people you look at and you go, they actually make an active choice every single day. And, you know, you and I do it on a daily basis. You know, I even said the other day, I think on my stories, like, I didn't want to go to the gym. I really didn't want to go. No one, like, not a lot of people go, yes, going to the gym, like pumped. It's like, of course, I'd rather just lay there in bed and chill and still look ripped. But it's not that voice is the choice where you go, am I going to let that person win, or am I going to get out of bed because I know I'm going to feel better when I do? So I think that's the uncomfortable truth, is that you're letting the excuses win. You're saying, I'm too tired. I had a rough day. I drank a couple of extra wines last night. Whatever it is that you tell yourself, the story you tell yourself in your head, you have to say, get out of bed. I'm better than this. And that's that uncomfortable part where you realize everyone has the voice. You're just choosing to listen to it.
Yes, it's delaying the gratification, right? It's doing what's best for you in the future instead of doing what's best for you right now. So what's best for me right now, like doing what I really want to do right now. Like, I don't want to get up at 4 a.m. I want to press snooze. I want to lay in bed. I want to sleep longer, right? Because and then I start to make stories in my head. Oh, look at Liv. I like to cuddle her. Finn's in bed. I'm like, he's just rubbing my, there's so many stories that run through my head that try and justify why I should stay in bed longer. And, you know, sometimes those stories win, right? And I do treasure those moments. But, you know, with this, I try not to let those stories win very often, because the best version of me is better when I train. I said to Liv, I was like, fuck, I'm a better person when I train in the mornings. Like I said that today. Like I just
happier person.
I'm what?
You're a much happier person.
I mean, I am a happy person, right? Like, you know, there's endorphins run through my system. I get up on time. I get my meditation done afterwards. I do a bit of journaling. Like everything's just like it gets on point after that. When I don't train, I'm just a grumpy motherfucker. So for me, to live as the best version of myself, even though it's not most optimal to train at 4 a.m., it's most optimal to express the best version of myself moment to moment on a daily basis to train at 4 a.m. So I want to ask you right now, you know, for you to be happy, you to have joy, to have well-being, it's not about, you know, getting abs. It's not about making $1 million. It's not about having a great relationship. It's about all those things wrapped into one, expressing the highest version of ourselves in every moment of our life, which is essentially, you know, it's living with arete, and that's expressing the highest version of yourself. And the heroic you, there's a heroic you in work, there's a heroic you in love, there's a heroic you in health, okay? And then there's also the co-star. So if you lived moment to moment in your health, and this is where we're coming into goals right now, so we got around to it. If you lived in moment to moment in your health as a heroic version of you, decision by decision for this next 12 months, where would your body be? Okay, and that's what I want you to think about. Because so many of us, yeah, for sure, we overestimate what we can achieve in 1 year and underestimate severely what we can achieve in 5. But you can achieve so much in 1 year. What happens if you made the decision after decision, as the heroic version of you, in every meal that you made, in every training session that you did? You didn't justify things. You didn't blame. You didn't make excuses. You didn't listen to the stories. You didn't listen to that co-star. You stepped up to the plate for 12 months. You know, where could you be? You want to set your goals around that. You want to be inspired around that. And then your job is to express the highest version of you moment to moment to achieve that, because that is closing the gap of what you're capable of being, your potential on this earth. And then in 12 months, we do it again. And in 12 months, we do it again. Like every athlete was once an amateur, but athletes, they train whether they like it or not, whether they feel like it or not. We need to adopt the athlete's mindset, become the heroic version of ourselves, jump into that identity, the world-class athlete, and make decisions from that person, because that person is making the decisions that would close that gap for us. Then in love.
But I think even if you look at it, you know, we all look at like the athletes and the things like that, but even, you know, the most fantastic architecture and these great monoliths and these amazing pyramids and all these sort of things, they took 50, 60, 100 years to build. And even I saw a quote the other day, I can't remember who posted it. And it was like Rome wasn't built in a day, but they were laying bricks every single day. you know, and you go, well, you know, every hour of every day they were laying those bricks because they saw the vision and they consistent habits. And I saw something, it's not Masterclass, it's like this other thing that's basically doing a similar thing to Masterclass. And they've got Michael Phelps doing it. And he's like, it's not actually hard, it's just the consistent habits of executing all the time. And that's what makes it hard, is actually people suck at consistently executing because it's boring and they want the adrenaline rush. They don't want the repetitive, boring action.
And do you know why? Like, one, yeah,
Laying
for sure.
bricks is
Laying bricks is boring. It is boring, right?
It's horrible.
But you have to,
Shout out to the brickies.
but you have to feel good for laying the brick every single day. And I think if you can try
The
and
vision, you have to have the vision. Otherwise you're just laying bricks. That's the problem.
yeah, 100%. You have to go, this is where I'm going and this is what I'm doing. And understanding you're following the process to get to the journey, or you're following the journey to get to the outcome. But then you need to, every single brick you lay, you know that brick is a step closer.
You see Notre Dame.
Exactly.
Like, you have to see it though, because that's what we all stand there when you look at Notre Dame or you look at the Taj Mahal or you look at these things and you just stand there and go, huh,
Amazing.
someone had that in their mind. And then and I understand, obviously, that wasn't just one person. But then, you know, you've got this consistent brick. You look at Ephesus, you look at, you know, Roman aqueducts, and you go, they created this concept and then they built it. But that took time and it took effort and it took belief. And there would have 100% been some doubters.
100%. And there'll probably be doubters on your goals for this year as well.
100%. You need them.
You do need them. You put those chips
Means
on
you're
your
not
shoulder.
doing great shit if there aren't people telling you you can't
100%.
do it.
Put those chips on your shoulder and they show those motherfuckers what you can actually achieve. And that's okay. It's okay to have some away motivation sometimes. But guys, I think I really, truly want you to set some big ass goals. You need to have a vision that drives you, and then every single day, but it's not delaying happiness. I think this is where people fall down. But I think it's not delaying happiness. I will feel good when I feel good every brick I lay, because it's like every brick I lay that's just like me. That is who I am. I lay bricks because I know where I'm going. And I know every brick I lay is one step closer. I know every time that, you know, I have to live how amazing and attractive and how smart she is. And every time I give her gratitude, I know that every single date night, I'm getting laid 100%. You know, but intimacy, dude. I feel like for everyone, it's like you have so many things, and it's like it's not like I don't just give you flowers and that's love. No, it's not a moment, right?
Actually, I haven't got flowers for a while.
I gave flowers like 2 weeks ago. No, it has not been a couple of months. Don't try and throw me under the bus on a podcast. Jesus. I think like for all of us, it's the micro moments. And you need to then lay the bricks in your relationship. So it's like, okay, what do I want my relationship
it's the dishes that matter.
Yeah,
it's like, not the flowers. It's the dishes.
It's the acts of service. It's the bin. It's the washing.
Repetitive, mundane activities that you go, do you know what? You've noticed that I do that and you've made a conscious effort to make that easier. It's, you know, last night, me making sure dinner was ready the minute I got out from the kids. It's the little things. You don't hit the nail on the head all the time. That's knowing what matters to someone.
But that's because love isn't built over time. It's built overnight. It's built over time. But then love isn't destroyed overnight. It's destroyed over time. You know, it's treating a relationship like at the end, like it was at the start, and it will never end. So I think for all of us, but then you have to have open conversations, right? Like, and so I used to live, it's like, you know, if I can do one thing better over the next 90 days, what would it be? And if I can stop doing one thing over the next 90 days to be even better, what can it be?
It was a very confronting conversation, but I think it's an honest one.
For sure. I think you have to have honest, real conversations with your partner to try and show up and express the best version of you, the heroic love partner, the world's best husband, whatever it is, the identity you want to step into moment to moment for them. You can't take the heroic version of you in business to the heroic version of you in a relationship. It's two different people. It's two different identities. They're living by two different virtues. So you should have goals in your relationship. Right now, if you show up as the best version of you,
I feel like if you set a Pomodoro timer on our date night, we would have a very short time frame. Productivity deep work blocks do not work on date night.
it's like you got 25 minutes to talk, and then I'm going to have a 5-minute break.
I'm going to go for a walk around the block just to reset my state.
So, but I don't think enough people set goals on their relationship.
No.
And I think that's such a crucial thing for us to understand. It's like,
it takes work. Like, it's not magical. It's the same as work. Like, you have to give it consideration and dedication.
but also we're so critical of our partner. Instead, really, it's not about changing them. It's about changing us, right? It's like, okay, it's not about, how can I get my partner to be great in 90 days? Or how can I get them even better in the next year? It's like, no, mofo. It's like, how can I be the best partner over the next 90 days? And I tell you what, if you just start showing up, like they show up even more as well, because you are the sum of the five. If you both don't give a fuck, you both won't give a fuck. But if one of you starts stepping up and they keep stepping up and you have these goals, you probably need to start with a conversation. It's like, you know what, I want to show up better for you. And it's not that I'm showing up bad. I want to show up better. And if I can keep showing up better, you tell me one thing I can do over the next 30 days, every single day. I'm going to start doing that. But then you have to be disciplined. You've got to lay the bricks. And then the next 30 days, it's like, how can I show up again? What's one more thing I can do? What's one more thing I can do? But also you got to go, what's one thing I need to stop doing, right? Like me and Liv, I need to stop doing things. I criticize her on looking at the chickens and all the rest. And it's like, honestly, it's like I try to stop doing that because I pulled myself up, and it's like I know it's a thing I do. And like I'm honest with everyone. It's like I've got flaws, but I have to realize my flaws. I need to work on my flaws so I can be better for Liv. And I don't want to change Liv. I want to change me because I love her so much. I want to be better for her.
But also it went both ways. So, you know, for you, it was I have become process oriented at work. So I'm just completely focused in that whole period. So having to make an active choice to disengage from that to spend more time with you.
I'm like, be present, bitch.
Stop being so damn productive.
Yeah, I'm like, when you're with me, you're with me. But I think we all have to have goals, but we have to be aware of how we are showing up. And it's like how they impact other people. And you want to be care about. Like, you want to have a relationship that's just like you have joy in every moment. And that doesn't mean you don't have conflict, but in conflict, you find joy. In every obstacle, that is the opportunity to deepen your relationship even further, to connect on a deeper level. Like, shit, I didn't realize that's something that it irritated you. Wow, I can make our relationship even stronger. Yes. And it's like, but we can only do that if we live under different virtues, right? There's virtues of gratitude and hope and zest, which is energy. There's curiosity and love. If you don't have curiosity in your relationship, like for sure, Liv, it's like, hey, Liv, how can we have sex differently? If you're not looking on this on the YouTube right now, you'd be like, Liv seeing Liv's face. But I'm not going to get you to answer that question. But you have to be curious. It's like, hey, Liv, how can I show up better as a partner? Hey, Liv, what's one thing? Liv's looking like a stunned mullet right now.
I'm scared of where this is going.
No, but it's just like you have to be curious. You have to be curious.
Hey, Liv, are we actually going to keep all 4 kittens?
Exactly. One of our cats just literally had 4 kittens the other day, and
no, it's a farm cat, so we don't see her. She's a mouse catcher, but we have 4 babies.
But like for this, guys, but you have to be curious. You have to be curious. But also, when you're looking at this, if you're going to ask questions, you might get answers you don't like. And I think this is the great thing with curiosity. And if you you can see things as threats or challenges. If you see it as a threat, you'll start to be combative and you'll start to get defensive. But if you come at it with gratitude, you come at it with hope, you come at it with curiosity and love. Love conquers all, guys. And it's like, oh my gosh, she cares so much about me. She is getting curious on how I can be better for her. And I'm not going to take it in a critical nature. I'm going to take it in a nature that, cool, I can show up better for her. And I think if we can try and have that mentality, shit doesn't go wrong. Shit just keeps getting better. And so what about your health? What about your work? It's like, what are you doing right now that's holding you back in your work? Like, how can you show up? I was like, right now, are you being productive? Do you have goals? Do you have the education? Are you driving forward? Are you actually living with arete in your work? Are you expressing the highest version of yourself? Or every 5 minutes, do you grab your phone and scroll through Instagram and Facebook? Do you try and do tasks that make you feel good instead of tasks that actually move you forward? Like, where are you not expressing the highest version of yourself in work? Are you pushing back on those crucial conversations because you don't like how they make you feel? Because you see them as a threat instead of the challenge to become better as a leader, to build a better culture with your team? You know, everything comes. I read something out the other day. It's like, it's not the event that makes you feel anxiety. It's how you see that event that actually gives you the emotion. So you can see the event as, you know, and we always have this anxiety about how we think it's going to unfold, and it might not even unfold it like that, right? But if we have a negative emotion towards an event, it's like, okay, what are the stories I'm telling myself about that event that's causing me that negative emotion? Because we're telling ourselves stories. It's like, cool, how can I reframe that story in my mind so I can then have a different emotion about that event, which will make me look forward to it? It's like, dude, this person's really trying to make me become a better leader.
But I think like another way of doing it, and you know, it's in one of our books for the quarter, the tools, is actually putting yourself in the situation and imagining the worst possible scenario happened, but then visualizing what does that actually mean? Like, what is the worst case scenario? Like, how is that actually going to hurt you? And then once you've put yourself in that situation and you've lived that situation multiple times over and over again, you realize that even in your mind, it's not actually as bad as you think it is. So it takes all the anxiety out of it. And even if then you arrive to this event and let's say, you know, the speech or the seminar or the event or the webinar or whatever it is doesn't go as well as you think it's going to go, you've already dealt with the emotion. So you move past it so much quicker, and all the anxiety is actually gone from what you perceive to be failure, but it allows you to move forward onto the next lesson, which is the exciting part.
100%.
Yeah.
So smart.
Oh.
And attractive.
Oh. It's date night.
So, I live. Always. So with this team, so we have to understand we have goals inside our work, our love, and our health. And these goals are based around expressing the highest version of ourselves moment to moment over the next 12 months. And if that is you doing that, what is possible for you to achieve? And now to get these goals, we live through virtuous action, which is gratitude, hope, energy, curiosity, and love. And that means, and discipline you can throw in there. There's like 24, 25, 27 different virtues. There's a lot of them. You can go into viacharactertraits.com and do a virtues test. But we get there by living through virtuous action, okay? And we live that through moment to moment. There's like 20,000 moments in a day. Every moment's like 3 seconds long. And you can go +4 or -1. And hopefully you just keep going plus all day long. And you know you're definitely going to close that gap between where you are and where you're capable of being. But to live with virtuous action, now moment to moment, we can choose to be the hero or the victim. The hero steps forward into growth. The victim retreats to safety. And the hero lives with responsibility. Responsibility broken down is your ability to respond to any given situation as the best version of you. And as Viktor Frankl says, it's like there's stimulus and response. If you know that something's going to trigger you to go down the wrong way, this isn't what he said, but it's an explanation of what he said, it's going to trigger you in the wrong direction. Your goal is to expand the gap between stimulus and response. Use the power of breath. This is a tool that you can use, the power of breath, to step into the heroic version of you. And as you expand that gap, you choose, instead of the old story, the old action, the co-star version of you and how they would respond, you choose the heroic version of you. If you can choose the heroic version of you moment to moment because you had the ability and that responsibility to expand the gap and respond as that best version of you, you're going to be a fucking winner. Like, you'll get everything you want. You'll close that gap.
you're going to make mistakes. There's going to be lessons. I think, again, it comes down to the response. So it's even when you do fail, you choose to see it. And that comes down to optimism and gratitude and love and curiosity and hope, is to understand that when things go wrong, the hero's version of you continues to get up and move forward, or to make another decision, or to just keep moving in the direction towards your vision, because there's lots of different ways to get there. And I think everyone has to understand that just because one way didn't work out the way that you thought, you just have to move on to the next one or the next one or the next one, because ultimately we don't know exactly how it's going to look. We don't know exactly how it's going to end up. So I think for everyone, you just need to understand it's more about the person that you are on a day-to-day basis than where you actually end up, because how many of us have gotten exactly what we need, not what we want? You know, you look back and you go, I had no idea that this was going to happen. You know, I had no idea I was going to end up with this family, with this life, doing this, blah, 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 blah. And you're so happy, but you had no idea. You just knew the person you wanted to be at the end of it. So it's understanding that everybody is naturally drawn to people who want to be positive, who want to show gratitude, who want to have hope and energy and positivity in what they do, no matter what. They are the people that we remember, that we notice, that we look back at and go, wow, you know, they've really made an impact. So these things, when you're at the gym and you go, I'm just going to take it a bit easier, or you go to the work and you're like, oh, I'm just going to look at Facebook, or I'm just going to scroll for a bit because I'm feeling a little bit lacking of motivation. That's the moments where it takes just a choice. It's not about completely changing your whole life. I'm not saying anyone listening to this podcast should just flip the table and change everything. It's just the daily choices that you make, because that's what makes you attractive to someone. Wanting to be better every day is what renews attraction in people, not just in a relationship, but in work, in, you know, friendship groups, in all these sort of things, in your relationships with your children. It's always just wanting to be better that makes people go, huh, they're not perfect. They're not trying to be perfect. They're just trying to be the best version of themselves. And that's what brings the right energy, I think, to you.
100%. I think you mentioned that at the start of that flow, you said mistakes, right? But if you expand that word, it's just mistakes. It was just a mistake. So if we understand that instead of shaming ourselves, it's a game, and in any game there's a mistake, then we go, okay, cool. If I ever lost a game when I played footy, that's like, okay, what did I learn? Like, what did I do well? Because you always did things well. What did I do well? What did I do wrong? Or what could have I done better? And what are my action steps moving forward? So every single time you have a mistake, don't shame yourself because then all of a sudden we start to go down, you know, a emotion not towards the best version of ourselves, but every mistake is still an opportunity to express the best version of us and go, what did I learn? Okay, what went well? What did I learn? What am I going to do better next time? Because all of a sudden it's like, bang, wisdom. Yeah. Now you're taking wisdom into the next time that happens. And then again, you express the best version of you. So when we're looking at this, guys, we make sure we have the two versions of you. We make sure we choose the right version of you in moment to moment. We make sure we understand our mistake is amazing because it makes us stronger. We make sure then when we're actually setting these goals, this is how we do it. We use the WHOOP, acronym: wish, outcome, obstacle, and then plan. And when we look at this, we have to look at the obstacles on the way to the plan. This is where most people get it wrong, because they don't look at the eventual, obstacles that are going to happen, because every time you go towards a goal, there's an obstacle. And all of a sudden we get surprised by the obstacle and we sit in the corner hoping it will go away. That's 2020. Guys,
if anyone called that, exactly. Other than The Simpsons, I'd really like to congratulate you.
But what's the wish? Okay, so we talked about expressing the highest version of you. What is that wish? What is that wish, and what does it look like? Set some fucking great goals, right? And then what is the outcome that you're going to get from that? Like, how is your life going to be better because of that? What are all the outcomes that are going to happen? Because now all of a sudden we've got this wish that we want. We have the outcomes that are associated with achieving that wish, because that's going to drive our why. It gets stronger. The value we place at that goal, because when we look at the motivation equation, it increases our value on it. And then it's like, okay, cool. What are the obstacles? Okay, what are the obstacles on the way to achieving an extra 100K in my business, extra 200K? What are the obstacles in having a fucking amazing relationship with my partner? What are the obstacles about getting the best shape of my life? Okay, And then you write them all down. Write 5 obstacles and write a plan. What is a plan on those 5 obstacles that I already have up my sleeve? It's like pow, right? You just like literally drive through those obstacles, those challenges that are in front of you. They don't even stop you. So you write a plan for like the top 5 obstacles, and you write a plan to get there. Okay, and that is whooping it. It rubs up against reality. And when you rub that shit up against reality, it increases your hope. Okay, and hope is the bridge, okay, towards success. You know, like you need eternal optimism and you need hope, right, for any success, especially as an entrepreneur. So if you go through the whoop process, you're increasing your hope. And then all of a sudden you increase your energy and you're living by, again, hope is the virtue, one of the universal virtues you must live by. So the whoop process increases virtuous action. Then, need to breathe sometimes. I get excited.
You do.
I'm an excited person. I live with zest. I live with energy. But like I get excited from this stuff, guys. Like, you know, I love seeing people move towards the best version of them. Like it fires me up inside.
It always has. And I think it's always understanding that it evolves. So, you know, I remember when it was as simple as for you in terms of the fitness and wanting people to understand it and empower them to understand that they could take control of it finally and have that impact on someone's life. And for a lot of people listening to that, that's where they're at. They've created this fitness business and they want to change people's lives and they're getting lost on the way to do that. And because there is a point where you need to scale it or you need to be able to grow it or you need to be able to impact more people's lives and you don't even know how to do that anymore. And for a lot of us, COVID has changed the game on how you do that and made it even harder and more fearful. So, you know, I remember when we were just kids in the gym and, you know,
I'm still a
kid in the gym, but I know distinctly the point where I thought this is someone different in my life. And, you know, I want to be around this person in some form or another because they understand the way I look at life and they understand that every day is about being the best version of yourself. And, you know, it was in a workout. It was a really off the cuff comment. It was back in the boot camp days when you used to run the boot camp. And it was, you know, the last 5 seconds. Are you the person who stops? Are you the person who slows down? Are you the person who stops what the action that they're doing, stops trying to push for the end of that, you know, that rep or that set, you know, that set? Or are you the person who pushes right until the last point where they say stop? Or are you the person who just kind of goes right to the end, even finishing that set? And you're like, that's the person I want to be. Like, I want to be the person who pushes right until the point where you're like, stop lifting the damn weight. And I think that's what people need to look at is people want to be around those people. The right people want to be around those people.
I think, that analogy rings true, right? There's 2 types of people in the world, and 5 seconds left in the workout. Someone goes easier. 5 seconds left in the workout, another person goes harder. What if there was only 1 year left in your life? How, like, memento mori, right? You don't know that you're going to have another year. Like, are you going to sit on and watch as many series of Netflix as you can? Or are you going to live every single day to its fullest, to truly express the highest version of you, to truly love? Like, how much time would you spend with your partner? How much time how much legacy and impact would you want to create? How healthy would you try and become so you could keep living? But that's the why. To have that memento mori, like, tomorrow might not come, so you need to live every day as if it was your last and express that highest version of you. For this team, we're going to wrap up in a second. There's so many more notes to go through, but I waffle on. But I think for all of us, we need to change our stories to change our strategies and tactics. The average person has about 65,000 to 80,000 thoughts a day. 90% of them are the same as yesterday and 75% of them are negative. I think for all of us, to achieve our goals, you can't achieve your goals if you're a negative person. They did us not if you live in despair instead of hope. If you're a fixed mindset person versus a growth mindset person, it's black and white, right? Like, that's it. Like, you're in one category or the other. Okay, you can be in one category or the other in different areas of your life, Okay. But, to be the hero or to be the victim. Okay. Like, be the fucking hero of your story this year. Like, write a gratitude journal. There was a study, and I think it was Martin Seligman did it. And they wrote a gratitude journal for 21 days, 3 things they're grateful for and why are they grateful for them. I like that extension. It's like, I'm grateful for Liv because of X. I'm grateful that she got me Y. Grateful that she got me XL. I'm grateful to Liv that made dinner last night. And the why is because she listened to me and how it made me feel. Like, that gives me a deeper sense of gratitude when I add a why to the thing I'm grateful for. And they did this for 21 days. And when they looked at it, the people who did it had a rating of 25% increase in happiness. Okay. If you were 25% happier, what happens to your state? If you're feeling like shit, where's your state? Like, where's your energy? It's low. When you have low energy, what are you telling yourself? Oh, I'm not good enough. Oh, I can't be able to work it out. Oh, I can't do this. Oh, screw the sales calls. Oh, you just make shitty decisions. If you were 25% happier day to day from doing gratitude, like, where is your state then? If I can turn the notch up and give you an extra 25% happiness, would you take it? And all it does is take 90 seconds a day? Of course you fucking would. Like, it's a stupid question. I had the same
conversation with Jackson in the car this morning about gratitude and choosing gratitude.
Choosing gratitude.
And looking for things to be grateful for.
When talking gratitude with our 6-year-old son.
Well, he was being a brat about not being able to play Beyblades on my phone. And then he was saying things, because he's a 6-year-old who's turning, 25. And he was saying that, he's not going to do something for the rest of his life. And I was explaining to him that he's very stubborn like me. Trav's laughing, that's why. Everything's very dramatic. And he was saying that. And I said to him, no, right now, I want you to think about something that you're grateful for and makes you happy. And I said, does cuddles with mummy make you happy? He's like, not really. And I was like, okay, we're in that mood. Great. And he said that he's grateful for and happy when he's jumping on the trampoline and playing kangaroo with dad. There you go. So, and I said to him, I was like, now do you feel happier? And he was like, sort of.
There you
so
go.
it's, it's looking at those sort of things. But for me, it's because I believe that if we encourage him to think those things, he won't remember the conversation, but I want him to remember the tool. And if you ingrain it early enough, then hopefully these will be things that come naturally to him, that he will naturally seek to see the hope, the gratitude, not just hopefully genetically inclined to be stupidly optimistic.
Let's hope he is, because I'm a stupidly optimistic person every day. So are you.
I know, that's why we're
so good together.
Stupidly optimistic together.
I know. Well, so with this, guys, start doing the gratitude journals. Like, you have to do it, and all of a sudden your reticular activating system kicks in. You start to see grateful shit everywhere, and that's why it happens, right? Your 25% increases because you start to see more grateful shit. You live with grace. I want you to try and write down all the bullshit stories you tell yourself. If I tell you right now you can make $200K a year extra and in 2021, and you tell me right now you can't, that's a bullshit story. Okay.
And if he says because of COVID,
it's a bullshit story, right? If I tell you like you're going to get abs and you tell me you can't just because you never had them, it's a bullshit story. Right? If I tell you you're going to find someone this year and you're going to fall in love and you're going to be like XYZ and you tell me you can't, that's a bullshit story. Like, you don't know. But all of a sudden, when you start telling yourself you can't, you're writing the truth. If you tell yourself you can, you've opened the possibility of it actually coming through.
Either way, you're right.
Exactly. Henry Ford. Was that Henry Ford? Yeah, it was. Yeah. With this, I was like, I want you to write down the stories. And I want you to write down, it's like the ants, right? The automatic negative thoughts that you're having. I want you to write them down. I want you to try and disengage with them. You to disengage with something, you want to try and bring it to your conscious awareness.
Yeah, recognition is the first step. Right?
Exactly. So you need to
acknowledging the problem.
So smart, Liv.
I think that's like Alcoholics Anonymous or something.
The second step is, first step is to acknowledge that
the
problem. The second step or something like that is, hey, can you help me with this? So you need to have an accountability buddy. Brings up the next one, right? You want to have an accountability buddy this year, but write down all the shit that's holding you back, and then find someone. Like, if you say you're going to lose weight and you're in a relationship with your partner, like, give them the ability to, if you're doing the wrong thing with your food, tell them they can punch you in the face. right? Say, stop me. Put
I
in-
really haven't
whatever it
seen
is.
this work well.
But it can, if you give them the power, give them the power. You can,
If my sister was to ever listen to this, she would roll her eyes at you right now, and
please.
Mike would just be giggling.
But hey, I've got abs. I don't need that. I'm disciplined enough.
No, I'm just saying you and I are fine. I think like Meg's and
Other
Mike
people.
had
Oh,
disagreement,
okay.
remember?
I was
And
like, what do you
Megan wasn't
mean?
allowed
That's
to
not
eat it,
me.
and then Mike said something. She's like, not on Christmas.
Yeah, it's true. It's like, I think, if I asked you, if it was like, you know what, for the next 28 days, I really want to do this. If I stray, can you help me out? And I give you the power to make sure and permission. It's like power over me. The permission.
Like the young child version of me just went back to the labyrinth. If anyone's watched that, you have no power over me.
I can't remember.
Well, it's David Bowie. You should all watch it.
I did watch it, but I can't remember the micro
Jennifer
moments.
Connelly.
But if I tell you that, if you have the power of me or the permission to tell me not to do something, and I respect you for that, and I would thank you for helping me to achieve this because it's so important to me, but I know my stories and I know my old standards may creep in. It's giving you that permission to allow me to help me. So it's like trying to set yourself up for success inside your environment.
Well, that's why people join the gym, right?
Exactly.
To give
That's
you
why
that
group
accountability.
training is fantastic because you're immersion in a culture, common humanity. So when we're looking at this team, you want to have accountability. You want daily accountability. You want weekly accountability. You want to write down your bullshit stories. You're going to reframe them. Write down some real fucking news stories. Write down your old standards. Write down your new standards. And that's going to be it for today. I've got heaps more notes, but that's going to be it for today, guys, because we crushed it with a lot of stuff today. And guys, I just want you to understand that your ability to achieve anything this year is in the palm of your hands. No one can stop you from having an amazing relationship, from having all the money that you want in this year, whatever you define that as, or to have the best and have the best health of your life. So follow me, Travis Jones, entrepreneur. Follow Olivia, the _Liv _Jones on Instagram. You can have our daily insights to, all that is our life and this sort of stuff.
And our baby kittens.
Obviously, we want to grow people's businesses, not just have existential conversations about having a better life.
But isn't it funny though? Because on like probably 60% of our coaching calls, they always end up coming back to how do you focus? How do you get this done? How do you balance relationships? How do you, get the most out of every day? Because I think ultimately all of us know what we have to do. How do you make yourself do it? All of us understand what it takes to lose weight. All of your clients who rock up to the gym, you're not teaching them like something amazing. It's on Google, guys. Yeah. Literally half the time, women's health are getting it right. Probably about 70% of the time.
Well, I don't know about that, but I agree with you.
Well, the general gist, all right? Yeah. If you ignore their tips.
If you just eat like some whole foods,
celery
and
juice,
fucking
just
walk
ignore
10,000
that
steps a day, you're gonna start losing.
But ultimately, they know what they need to do. They are coming to you because they know what they need to do, and they've recognized they're not going to do it on their own. I even had this conversation with one of the members at RBT Airport West the other day, and we were laughing about the fact that we have the ultimate respect for both of our husbands because they will take themselves to the gym. We go to group sessions because I need the motivation, I need the group, I need the accountability, I need the competitiveness in order for me to be the best version of myself. So it's not a weakness, it's a recognition because this is what I need. And that's what every single person who walks into your gym is asking from you is, I know what to do. I'm telling you I'm not going to do it without you. And that's the ultimate, I think, expression of
with self-awareness. It's the expression of emotional intelligence.
Oh, well, high EQ. But yeah, I think for all the things you need to look at yourself, what are you, of course you have all the tools. If another person tells me, goes, well, I knew that. Of course you know that. My 6-year-old knows that. But it's about going, how are you going to implement now? Why haven't you implemented? If you know all of this, why haven't you implemented?
Exactly. Like, that, okay, the leads, the marketing, the sales, it's like nuances, but people don't do it because everyone's, like when we're looking at it, it's like, why didn't you have that sales conversation? Okay, because of fear or because of confidence. Okay, let's work on your confidence and fear. We're going to step up to the plate. You're accountable to me. now when we're looking at a weekly coaching call with us, for example. You have the tools here, but then for you to use the tools or not, that's why we have accountability. And then I'm going to set you accountability. I'm going to give you some stuff to do over the next 7 days, and you better show up, doing what I asked you to do to increase your confidence, to step into the heroic version of you for that sales call, because you're being a little bitch right now and you're letting people off the hook because you are using your fear of confrontation or essentially not having crucial conversations, it's letting them down. And like everything comes back to, what's upstairs, your mindset and how you're acting and expressing the best version of yourself. And if you are doing that in your health and your life, like, dude, if I'm having an argument with Liv and we had a shit relationship, my business sucks, right? Like my day-to-day business, my business on how I act in our business, like it sucks. So I need to make sure that how our relationship is on a day-to-day basis is on point, because that's when I'm on point. If my health, I said that before, it's like if I don't train in the mornings, I'm just not as on fire. Right. And that in turn makes our relationship suck. And then training is my keystone habit that revolves everything. My health is everything. All right. That doesn't mean I'm obsessed with something. I'm obsessed with everything. I'm obsessed with Liv. I'm obsessed with our family. I'm obsessed with my health. I'm obsessed with our business. Right. But it's being disciplined around all of those things.
Secretly, he's also obsessed with our chickens.
I like the chickens. And I like some of the chickens. They sit on my lap. But when we look at this, it's like, you have to go, okay, because this is the keystone thing that makes it all roll around right. And I know I'm better for that. I know I'm better for her. I know I'm better for this. But I can't just go, screw my relationship, because if I'm not working on that, then I'm not truly going to be best in my business. So guys, make sure you have all the sides. What's the business for? 100%. But making sure that trifecta, okay, work, love, energy, okay, is truly working, all three of them, because that's gonna be how you express the highest version. So you're not gonna think about the argument you had earlier today, because that's distraction. Okay, you're not gonna be tired because you didn't train this morning. That's distraction. Like with this, they all work together. So please set goals around all three of them this year. Express the highest version of you. If you want some coaching, go to fitproformula.com. That is our website. Okay, fitproformula.com. And you can book in a call with us, and we can talk about how to get you an extra 100K into your business in 90 days. On the call, we'll break it down with you, and then you can leave the call and do it by yourself, or you can do it with us as well. Fitproformula.com. That is it from TJ. Catch you later.
See ya.